Okay, so we are now in
So this is a little
66.
bit strange, the opening, the game between Petrosian and Spassky. Well, it was a match for the World Championship, of course, but this move b5 and then a6 was played much later, a very well-known game between Miles from England against Karpov. And it was considered a very big surprise that Miles won a very beautiful game, and everybody was very surprised that by the novelty. I mean, b5 and a6.
It was a novelty.
But as you see, it was played before,
So
in
actually
match,
not a
It was
novelty.
not a novelty, but of course.
So he beat Karpov in
Miles won against Karpov with black. So it was a surprise, of course, in that time. Here, the game is very interesting. Petrosian, as always, he plays a normal line, very good. I mean, a small advantage for white, very solid. I mean, he takes out his pieces, with bishop d3, knight e2, very slight advantage, but always a little bit better for white. Doesn't any risk, a little bit better for white in any position. So, okay, c3, but it's very interesting because it seems black played a little bit strange like this with black, but the position is all right. I mean, nothing happens very quickly, you see. So bishop e7, bishop d3, d6, knight e2. No, a4 first, pardon. a4 is all right, c6. So c6, he had to play c6 because otherwise it's bad. If you take in a4, it's very bad structure, So at least you don't lose something. c6 is good because bishop c6 was not good. You lost immediately a pawn after bishop c6. Bad mistake. He took in b5, took in a8, and then he lose the pawn from b5. No, it's very easy to see. Very bad.
yes.
Okay, so c6, not normal. Okay, he took.
Okay.
After c6, after c6, now he continues. Knight e2, knight d7, castle, no?
Yes.
Castle, all right. We look at the position, slight advantage for white, very little, because it has more space, White has a little bit more space. So everybody prepares, waiting. Everybody waits here. Knight g3 is preparing. Black reacts very well by waiting again with rook e8. This is normal, All right, so he took in b5. Now, the first moment, now is the first question. Is it okay to take with the other pawn, opening a little bit the diagonal or not? I mean, he took with the a pawn.
Yeah.
It seems all right. But it was probably all right to take with the c pawn, and now we have a hedgehog or a Sicilian for black, which is okay. Normally must be all right. I mean, it's not a mistake, and black is playing a normal game, see? If he took with the c pawn. Okay, he took with a, and now they can trade one rook. Okay, he took in a, he took with the queen, and queen c2 again. From now on, black wants to react a little bit aggressively, but he tries to take the initiative, to tell the truth, with black, you see. So, all right, bishop f8, for the moment he waits, now. b4, all right. So after b4, queen b8, and knight b3, and g6 waits again, and the next two moves, very quickly, he plays e5, d5. This is the idea with black, to open. So rook a1, and okay, here e5. Okay, the first interesting moment. Now white has to take a decision. He takes or doesn't take.
Yeah.
Very normal for Petrosian. He waits again in such a position. He's a little bit better, and he waits to see what happens. And play queen f2, very good move,
This is like a waiting move.
Well, he waits. He's still a little bit better with the white,
For black to go wrong.
Yeah. Well, he played d5. Okay, now it seems very good for black. Every piece is playing. The only a little bit passive is the bishop from b7, but you can't do anything very quickly against this bishop,
Yeah.
So, okay, so now white has to take a decision. Takes in e5, and now it's very unclear who is better here, So bishop c2, of course, he doesn't give the bishop, no? And from now on, the game will be very interesting. Tal by this position, I recommended very quickly. The idea was to play h5, h4 immediately, you know. Tal wanted to give
For black?
an idea for black, you know. But okay, after bishop a7, they played queen c7 now. Bishop b6, queen b8 back. Again, they repeated the moves, queen c6, and now...
So Petrosian was happy with a draw?
He wanted probably to make draw, and Spassky didn't want draw, and he played queen c8. And from now on, it's very interesting, because they have to play both for win, you know, for here. Probably time trouble also, and now we'll see what happens. Bishop d4, okay, bishop d4 is good move, centralizing the bishop, of course. And h5, all right, after h5, h3, well, and...
So he played what Tal
He played a little bit later. Tal said to play h5 immediately, you know, the first time, you know. So, okay, even now is all right, h4, and now after h4, it seems that Petrosian is retreating, that he wants to defend. Well, he has to defend, I mean, for a few moves.
Yeah.
But the white position is all right, and probably Spassky played a little bit too risky later on, you know. So after knight f1, he took in e4, still all right, he took, and knight d7, good. And after knight d7...
So now he gives a pawn?
He wants to give a pawn. I mean, if he takes there, he wants to have some initiative with
black.
With black, yes. And what did he take? He didn't take back the pawn immediately, because after c5 was not very clear, you know. The pawn from the e4 was attacked 3 times, and he has time to take in the central pawn from e4. Black has a good game, you know. That was the idea. So he doesn't give the pawn from e4, and even now black wants to open the game by playing c5. Okay, he had to play c5, because otherwise he loses the pawn from h4, or he has too many weaknesses, you know. So, okay, and now knight takes, and now, small surprise, very good move, he takes with the pawn, you know. Now you have to take a decision, what to do here with black. He took with the bishop in e4, because if he took normally with the knight, it's bad, you know. If you put the bishop, he took c5, yeah, and now knight takes e4.
Yes.
Knight takes e4 is mistake, because now he takes with the bishop in e4. Now you have to take with the bishop, yeah? And now he takes in g7. You take in g7, queen d4 check, and you are lost with black.
Because you win a piece.
Yeah. Finished, you know? So the position is very tactical, but it's clear much better for white already, you know? Very unpleasant position. After bishop takes e4, what to do? He played bishop b3. Again, very unpleasant, because now he wants to take a piece in f6, and he has also very dangerous attack again, f7, you know, and this kind of position is always very difficult, you know, if not wrong. But it seems that bishop f5 is almost the only move, you know. And now after rook a7, again, rook on the 7th, you know, attacks with tempo immediately on f7. Probably here the position is very bad for white, you know, for black, pardon. So queen, knight d7, and knight f3. Typical for Petrosian, the best move, you know. He waits, He comes with the last piece to attack, you know.
He doesn't rush.
He wants to take in h4, but he wants also to play knight g5 decisive. If he plays knight g5, you can resign, you know. If he attacks twice in f7, it's terrible, you know. So what to do? Queen b8. And now again, very strong move, c6 now.
Sorry, so here...
Knight, yeah. And now he played queen.
But here it's finished. He resigned here, I guess. Or is a mistake?
Probably after c6, I think he resigned. I think he played still there, and here he resigned, yeah. But the position is terrible. You don't have any moves. Was every piece on board, you know. But why? Because the c pawn was very, very strong. I mean, after such a blow, you can resign immediately after c6. You don't have any moves, you see. Not only that he attacks the knight, but he attacks in f7, as I told you, you know. If he gives you one check, it's terrible, you know, immediately.
Yeah.
Until one moment was a typical game from Petrosian. Until that moment when he repeated the moves, you know. Until there, the game was more or less even.
Yeah.
From the moment that Black wanted too much and he didn't want to repeat, it was a demonstration.
A punishment. Okay.
Yeah. Terrible, you know.
Terrible. Yes.
Yeah, this highest level, you know. All of them play like this. I mean, Petrosian especially because he was forced to play like this. I mean, he was forced to attack. And when he was forced to attack, what he could...
He was forced to
do it, you know. I had to do it, yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the next game is the revenge. You see what happens from Spassky. What happens, you know, from Spassky. Spassky will do it, you know, himself. He'll win a very beautiful game against Petrosian.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're